Hello, fabulous Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of March 2016, General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month, we've got eclipse season taking place. Eclipses speak more strongly to you than they do to other signs out there, and that's because eclipses involve the moon. Specifically, they involve the nodes of the moon. But considering that, ultimately, a lunar eclipse is just a really powerful full moon, and symbolically speaking, that is. And a solar eclipse is a really powerful new moon, symbolically speaking, astrologically speaking. It does mean that lunar activity, your ruling planet, having this major activity and having amplified activity at that, does suggest that this is going to be a month of change. It's going to be a month of clarity, of progress. It's going to be a month of understanding home base, right? Your home in the sky, your astrological home, but also your practical home as well will become especially important with this series of eclipses. And you add to that an understanding of your place in the world changing as well. So we go from the world to home. So let's start with that new eclipse, that new moon eclipse rather, that speaks to what's happening with you in terms of your relationship with the world, with ideas, with an understanding of how it is that you want to grow and be more so that you can, in the fullness of time, manifest even greater things. This particular part of the sky that is activated, that is lit up with the solar eclipse happening in the first part of the month, speaks very powerfully to new opportunities showing up for you that are related to higher education, travel, legal matters, or political matters as well. So if you are someone, this is uniquely for you, right? I'm not talking about the collective here. I know that there's an election happening in the US, talking about you in particular as a Cancer. With this particular solar eclipse that's taking place, it's speaking in very interesting ways to other power players in the sky. It's speaking with Jupiter, it's speaking with Saturn, it's speaking with Pluto. So it looks like whatever advancements are made might ask you to do a little bit of hustling, right? Actually like be motivated, actually want change to happen. Maybe have to face some fears to make those change happen for yourself. Actually have to connect with people, to communicate with people, to say what you want. But in doing so, you cause positive outcomes to occur. With an eclipse like this, a solar eclipse like this, there are a few things that you want to keep in mind that this can be really good for. It can be really good for things like applications to institutes of higher learning. I know that sometimes like university applications, people start sending out those applications like in December and January. In a lot of places they're due right around that time to start in September. However, this can be, receiving notice that you might have gotten into a university program. This might be an extension, and you realize that now, you know what, I actually do want to apply to that. And you realize that you can, that you haven't missed the deadline. This is being put on a waiting list and knowing that that's the right thing for you. This can also be if you're already in university. This can be some really positive gains that happen for you that help you to understand if you're in the right program for you, if you want to keep continuing along with this program, what you need to do to create greater success in the academic environment. So lots of blessings all around, lots of hope, lots of ambition with this particular eclipse. This also speaks to legal matters. It speaks, as I said, to political matters, but let's talk about the legal stuff first, right? Well, let me say this. With the political stuff, ultimately what that comes down to is policy. So you might not realize that policies are changing and policies are working in your favor. It's just about that information being revealed to you, which is very possible now. Also, a certain political candidate might especially resonate with you, and you might be motivated to actually take action to support that candidate. Also possible. So now let's leave the politics alone. Let's talk about the legal stuff. So legally, now what's really interesting with this is going to motivate you to take action. This is going to motivate you to make meaningful change happen, which is great. But it does look like any legal endeavors are going to end up asking for more elbow grease than you realize. They might be very ambitious. You might be overshooting the mark a little bit as well. It is a solar eclipse, so it's a fresh beginning. It's a fresh new chapter. And so that does suggest things changing very quickly and very rapidly. And especially where it comes to wanting a legal matter to go in your favor. If you're in a legal matter, that can end up like just taking huge steps forward very quickly, very dramatically, taking rapid steps forward for you. So these are some of the ways that this particular solar eclipse can play out. Also, just on a more personal level, this can also speak to, as I said, you might get the chance to travel to another country, to another coast in your country. You might be exposed to or come across a way of seeing the world, a different world of view, a philosophical or spiritual world view that really helps you to understand your place in the world very differently. Or you might just get a chance to share who you are on a bigger scale, on a broader scale. So in some way, step up and be introduced to more of the world than you have before. This can be publishing. This can be really positive, an impact on media. So someone publishing something about you that helps you to advance forward, that helps you to use that as a springboard towards greater and greater things. So all of this possible with the solar eclipse in the early part of the month. As we get to the later part of the month, the energy shifts, and in some cases dramatically so, goes much more inward, goes much more towards matters of home, of family, and of what feels like home to you. And as I look at this particular eclipse, lunar eclipse at that, there are a few different ways to understand this. One is because we've got this solar eclipse happening that has you going out into the world, it's very possible that as we move towards the later part of the month, you feel like you have found home in a different part of the world. You feel like, okay, I've gone out there and I connected. I feel at home here, even if it's a place that you've never been to before. You feel a strong connection to that place and want to make it home. All of this very possible under this particular eclipse. Now, keep in mind at the same time, we have got Saturn and Jupiter speaking. Same day as the eclipse, Saturn and Jupiter speaking, this eclipse standing across from Mercury. So Mercury at the very top of your sky, standing across this particular lunar eclipse. So just keep that in mind, especially where it comes to like, if it is that you want another place to be home, if you find yourself being one of those people, this could be you needing to figure out the legalities, needing to figure out how you're going to move forward on that front, needing to figure out the paperwork may very well be a part of that process. But for others of you, this really is going to be needing to spend and wanting to spend more time with your family, family of origin, in particular parents, where it applies in particular, and thinking about your physical home as well. So where it comes to your parents and wanting to spend time with family of origin, we have got a lot of conversations happening, and that's something I would really, really encourage you with this particular eclipse, because it does suggest emotional truths being revealed, coming forward, and being able to and willing to have those conversations that maybe don't come around every day, or maybe haven't been usual for you in the context of connecting with and speaking with your family of origin or one of your parents. So this is a really great chance to be able to communicate that which otherwise would be more challenging to express, whether it's for you or you listening to another person at that. And really, I'll tell you, I've seen this so many times. I've seen people really powerfully heal relationships with their family. I've seen people not speak to their families of origin for 10 years and then heal those relationships and establish strong bonds with their family and their parents. And regardless of your starting point, right? Whether you are, deeply in love with your parents and you talk to them every day and you're excited about that, or whether it has been a challenging road and there have been some, opportunities or need to create some healing there. This lunar eclipse can really help you to put the past to rest, eclipse the past, as they say, right? Eclipse the past and just be, propelled towards your future. This can really help put old emotions and understand them and put them into the past. Feel like things have come full circle, feel like things have been what they needed to be, culminated, so that now you can move forward. And this really could be just as simple as an apology, really. And it's not something necessarily, because it's an eclipse and you've got to let it happen in its own time and space. And sometimes it happens in ways that are subtle, sometimes in ways that are not as direct, but it's an eclipse, so you will know. So if that needs to happen, whether it's from you or from somebody else, whether it's just deeper understanding, and also just to say the things that, once you realize that our experience in these physical bodies are finite, right? Our life is infinite. I really do believe that. Our spirit is infinite. We continue to be part of an energy of greater love and greater wisdom, whether in this incarnation or not. But this incarnation, our bodies are finite, and really life is short. It's long, but it's also really short. And sometimes really the thing that people wish that they could do more than anything, I've heard it again and again, the one thing is, I wish I had talked about that. I wish I had had that conversation. And so this may very well bring that chance to have that conversation, so that you don't have to be one of those people who feels like, I wish I had said that. I wish I had communicated that. So this could be that very chance for you. Now this also can be home, like your physical home as well. There might be some changes happening on that front. And it might be that you are very ambitious in the changes you're wanting to have in your home. And so you want to be mindful of that, because either you're going to want some dramatic changes and it actually might end up being and costing more than you realize. And again, might be way more ambitious. You're really overshooting the mark financially, or not just financially, but also in time-wise as well, might be a part of this. But this also could be wanting to move, and that certainly can manifest when there is a lunar eclipse bringing closure. This can be closing the deal on selling or buying a new home. What I love about this month for you is that there is this chance to consider what you believe. There is a chance to consider who you are in the world, and a chance to make right what has passed, to make right what is home for you. There's this deep connection between what's happening inwards and what's happening outwards in your life. What you believe about your world and what you know in your heart of hearts. And finding that right balance ends up creating a greater, rewarding experience all around in just about every area of your life.